the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to episode 174 of the Pete Primeau Show. We are here with Blake Austin today. And as soon as we pay the bills, we will come back and talk to Blake. Hey, what's new with AI? That's the subject today. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? 101 tips for furniture and mattress store owners to sell another $1 million or more this year. Get it unless your business is so good you actually don't feel like you need any help whatsoever. If you do buy the book and you want some help implementing an idea in there, call me at 419-560-3169. Thank you for everybody who's bought the book and who continues to buy the book. Hopefully it's a tip of the iceberg of what we can do together to help make your business great. And without a further ado, let me thank Steve and Greg for sponsoring the show at the Mattress Industry Network group. What a great group, guys. Over, oh my Lord, I think it's over 2,600 strong now. And it's a free Facebook group. All you got to do is hit that QR code. If you want to help yourself to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry, join this group. It is a group run by retailers for the benefit of the entire industry. Join this group today. Hit that QR code. And we have one last very special sponsor for the show, the Winning Strategies for Success Masterclass in Paducah, Kentucky, June 11th through June 13th. If you haven't signed up yet, just do it. This is the class that Scott Vaughn, who owns Happy Z's in Paducah, Kentucky, wished he had access to 20 years ago when he was starting to open his sleep shop, which he's been open for over 19 years now. And if he had had this class, he would have made a lot less mistakes, would have saved a lot more money, would have helped a lot more people wake up happy and pain-free. You're going to walk out of there on June 13th with literally a playbook, like a physical playbook from a super successful mattress retailer, Scott Vaughn. Come for the knowledge, but leave with a band of brothers and sisters that will help you succeed. The people that show up at these events are the very best of the best. So be there in Paducah, Kentucky. I'm going to be there. I just saw Steve Hauk is going to be there. Lots and lots of great people. Hey, Steve, I saw that. That is so awesome. And, there are a lot of people that might need this more than you, Steve. But one of the things that I've always found is that the very best of the best are always in the front of the group, taking notes, trying to learn and gain every advantage they can to be more successful. So without further ado, Blake, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Pete. I really appreciate you letting me on this platform that you've spent so much time and energy of your own building up. Really appreciate you having me on.
Well, dude, I'm going to warn you right now. You put your seatbelt on. Put your seatbelt on.
I'm ready.
The first time I've ever gotten one of these from somebody, well, second time in the mattress industry. And let me tell you whose company you are in. A handwritten note. The only other person that sent me a handwritten note in the last 10 years has been Jerry Borgini, the president of Therapeutic. How about that?
Oh, wow. Good company. All right.
Very good company.
That's awesome.
So I was naive enough to think that I was the only one that got one of these. But I have to compliment you, sir. That is so old school. It's new school, brother. That shows me a level of hunger, a level of commitment that we don't see. And speaking of things that we don't see, This is the first time I've ever had a guest say to me, Pete, did you get something delivered to your front door? And I'm like, not that I know of. You're like, I think you did. Go check. So I go out, and this is this right here, guys. It's on my doorstep. How does this dude know that I love cheesecake? It's one of my weaknesses. Hey,
Pete, I got myself one too. So,
Blake, here's my question.
yeah.
You know that I like cheesecake.
How?
How?
Well, Pete, my background is in B2B sales into the furniture and mattress industry. So I used to spend hours and hours doing research, trying to figure out how to garner the attention of people just like yourself. And now, instead of spending hours and hours, some people, if they're very active on the internet, I can simply use ChatGPT and ask them what would be a good gift for this person that would surprise them and get their attention. And ChatGPT will spit out some answers for me. So that's the truth. And I was trying to get something from Joe's Deli, but they don't deliver their desserts. So I had to go with another local place. So yeah, I'm glad you like it. And, I figured we could connect over it. We're hundreds of miles away. It gave me a reason to get some cheesecake. So, I think a lot about all this AI stuff. I know we'll get into it, but I think people are never going to get tired of connecting to people and getting to know people. And so I think, yeah, like you said, it's so old school, it's new school. I think that is going to come around, really focusing on connecting with people.
Stu, I love you, dude. AI Private Investigator Services by the one and only Stu Segura. That's great. Hey, Marnie, how you doing, kiddo? I hope you had a great Memorial Day, and I'm so excited for your new store, Serenity Sleep, up there in Michigan. Listen, no one's perfect, and there's only one game a year that I don't like Michigan people. That's when we beat you guys. Oh, well, we haven't done it in a long time, but I think we got a chance this year. Anyway, I digress. So, Blake, here's what I would like to ask you. You've got some fear mongering, you've got some ignorance, you've got some indifference, and then you have complete apathy regarding AI. So can you address what AI is and maybe what it isn't, and kind of do it in layers? Like, I'm not the typical 63-year-old. I'm actually, like, my wife calls me the professional student. I always want to learn. I've always been very curious. It's been both a blessing and a curse, trust me. And there are some 60-plus-year-olds that don't understand it, and some that do understand it really well. And then maybe like 40 to 60, and then under 40. Just like, try to define it for us before we go any further.
Well, the good news is we're not going to fully understand it today. I mean, the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, he said that he doesn't fully understand how the transformer architecture works and how it gives the results that it gives. So, but I like the approach you gave, is it to layer it on. So let's start with the very bottom layer. And I think one thing that's just amazing is that compute is just ones and zeros. So every interaction that we have with technology comes down to ones and zeros. So when you look at your iPhone and it scans your face and it knows that it's you, there was no magic trick. There was no photo that went to, the Apple headquarters. It all broke down into billions and billions of ones and zeros and identified that it was you and unlocked your phone. So, we start with ones and zeros. And then, Pete, I don't know how much you interacted with computers back in the day, but, we added the command line interface where you basically had to know how to, like, code in HTML to interact with computers. But that was like a big leap forward, was this command line interface. And then we had the floppy disks, the 5-inch floppy disks, and then the 3-inch floppy disks, and you could play Oregon Trail or whatever. And then we get up to the point, let's fast forward to where we have Google. And if you remember Google in the early days, it was very keyword index driven. So if you put in truck into the Google search bar, you were going to get back results that you wanted. It was really good at these single word, searches. So truck, it gives you a bunch of results for random trucks, maybe some cartoon trucks, some real trucks, all these different results about trucks. But come early 2000s, call it 2003, 2004, Google had a huge problem. And when a multi-trillion, well, they were probably just hundreds of billions back then, but when a company that large has a big problem, the problem gets solved. So here was Google's problem. People were starting to type more than just one word in the search bar. They were starting to say, show me a blue pickup truck. And, if you just index each one of those words, okay, pickup. So you might show people picking things up. Truck, a bunch of trucks. Blue, you might show like different shades of blue. So that was a real problem. People wanted to put 4 or 5 words in this Google search bar and get back meaningful results, but the tech wasn't there. All they could do is the keywords. So the revolutionary technology that solved that problem is something called word2vec. Word2vec. So I won't get too technical, and I'm not too technical, so that's easy, but it's just word to vector. So we know what a word is. A vector is just an XYZ space where things have a 3D dimension. So Pete, have you seen, I don't know the exact name of them, but when you see like the word, like it'll say like sales or something really big, and then it'll have a bunch of words around it that kind of relate to that word, like leadership, positivity, like all these different words that kind of relate to the big word that is sales. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a vector space for a word. It gives the words these shapes and how they relate to other words. So that then when you type in something in Google, like show me a door of a blue Jaguar, that's a pretty tough sentence to deliver the right thing, because a Jaguar could be a car, it could be an animal. Blue, we have to attach that to the car should be blue. And so what word2vec did was it made it so that they could relate these words to each other and figure out what those chunks meant. Okay. So then if we fast forward again to 2017, Google had this part of their company called DeepMind, and all they did was research. They just researched and put out papers. But in 2017, they put out a paper called Attention is All You Need. So it was a corny title based off the Beatles song Love Is All You Need, but it's called Attention Is All You Need. And in this paper called Attention Is All You Need, they made another huge innovation on something called the transformer architecture. Have you heard of this, Pete, or no?
No.
Okay. So what the transformer architecture is again, it's just another layer of technology that is doing magic tricks with these words and is doing like extremely good next word prediction. So if you're typing and you type 3 words, you know how a lot of times Google or these other programs, they try to guess the next word to help you out. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So the transformer architecture put that on steroids and made this next word prediction very, very good. For those tech people I know it's called tokens. They're called tokens in this transformer architecture, but we'll call them words for today. So these large language models got very, very good at next token prediction. So when Google put out that paper in 2017, it made Elon Musk and Sam Altman kind of nervous for Google to have this massive innovation and all this tech. They're like, Google's going to own the whole world. So they stepped out and they opened OpenAI. And they took this transformer architecture, they put some really smart technology around the transformer architecture. And then sure enough, 2 years ago, we have ChatGPT 3.5, which is where a lot of people are just like, this is magic, this is amazing. But what it really is next word prediction. So I think to tie this all together, maybe we'll do something where, we play this next token prediction game. So Pete, I want to imagine you see these 3 words right next to each other. Okay. And then I'm going to give you the 3 words. And then I want you to tell me what the 4th word is. Okay. Mary had a, and now you get to pick the 4th word.
A little lamb.
Okay. So your brain did this thing where it went to predict the next word. And let's start with little. You know, I'm sure in your life you've seen sentences that said, Mary had a birthday party. Mary had a really bad headache. You've probably seen a lot of these sentences before in your life, you know, but you combed through all those, your brain combed through all those different options and goes, well, the most likely is little lamb, right? But to focus on little, what probability would you put on that word little that you selected it? So if I asked you that question 100 times, how many times do you think you would say little for that fourth word?
Every time.
You think 100%?
Me?
Yeah.
As simple as I am? Yes.
Stu said Mary had a split king with massage base.
Dude, you're the best.
So what these transformers do, if you type in Mary had a, it's going to put a probability on the next word. And the highest probability is probably little, right? So most times it's going to put little. And then once you have Mary had a little, what are the chances that lamb is going to come next? That is like almost 100% that lamb is going to come after Mary had a little, right? So to catch us all the way up to today, the GPT-4 Omni model came out, which takes in, you know, voice, image, and puts it all together into one unified token to deliver to the message. So now if I said, Mary had a, now what are the chances that you're going to finish that with little lamb? It's like 100. Like, you know what I'm doing now. If I said, if I sing the tune, but if I said, Mary had a, well, now it might not be little lamb. It might be headache, or it might be or split king adjustable bass because of the tone and the way that I said it, right? So this new Omni model that OpenAI GPT-4 just released really changes things, and it's not fully rolled out into the app yet. I know a lot of people have played with it and been like, I don't notice the difference. It's only partially rolled out in the app. But I think it's this Omni model that just got released is a really huge step forward, because it can take not just the tokens and the words, but also the tonality, the images, and all that to predict those next tokens, which is going to improve the results drastically. So I know that was long-winded. Did that answer your question, Pete?
Somewhat. So let me just dive a little deeper. So if you say AI to 10 60-plus-year-olds, what is the probability that it's going to be positive and filled with excitement?
What age did you say? 65?
60 plus.
60 plus? Yeah, I would say pretty low. A lot of fear. But you know what's interesting, Pete? It really also depends on socioeconomic status. So, and kind of adversely, people in lower socioeconomic status are more excited about AI. The real fear comes from people who feel challenged by it.
Yep.
And that they kind of have some stuff that they feel like could be disrupted by this new technology. Those are the people who are really negative. But also, the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question is, how many are even going to know what AI is or what I'm talking about? That's actually a bigger...
That's a good question.
That's a bigger percentage than someone who has a lot of emotions about it, really.
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, I saw that Jeb Blunt is one of the premier sales trainers, especially in the B2B area. And I believe it was Jeb. If it's not, I apologize to whoever it was. And he published this in LinkedIn as a quote. You don't need, as a salesperson, to be worried about AI replacing you. You need to be worried about another salesperson who knows how to use AI replacing you.
Yes.
And I thought, boy, it was that like exactly where we need to focus, right? And so I would say this to store owners. I wouldn't spend another minute being worried about AI. It's here. You can't do anything about it. This is the only thing you can do. You can choose to be completely ignorant about it, and hopefully it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Or you can educate yourself about it. You can become a student of it, and you can use it to power your business. So let's get right into that.
I want to riff on that. I'm super curious before I do. What was your first experience with this new wave of technology? What, like, if you could illuminate us on, like, how were you introduced to ChatGPT, or like how did that go at the very beginning?
Sure. Stu Segura says emotions lose in the end. Yeah, AI doesn't have any. And you know what? Our ability to see things the way they really are sometimes gets compromised with emotions. And there's nothing more valuable as a business owner to be able to see the market and where it's going and be there for the consumer. James Lewis says, it will always be about people and relationships. I completely agree. And I agree with you agreeing with me, James. Thank you. So my first experience, real experience, I wish Scott Vaughn was on this right now. Scott is in a meeting and he's going to have to watch the replay. But me and Scott took I guess you would call it a seminar, webinar together on chat, GPT, whatever.
Yep.
And how to write a book. And it was like a workshop. And we were actually doing it. And I actually have the outline of another book done by that. And one of the things that was fascinating to me that I picked up on right away was you can change the sequence of the words, and you can change just one word and get a completely different result. It literally gives you what you ask it for, and you need to be very precise in what you're asking it for. And one of the things that was amazing to me is you could ask it for the answers, and you could assign characteristics to it. For instance, you could say, I would like this in the voice of a conservative Midwestern male, or I would like it in the voice of a female liberal who lives on the West Coast, and they will actually deliver that to you. And I'm not saying one's good and one's bad.
Careful.
I'm just giving guys opposites, right? Like in today's world. And to me, one of the most fascinating things, Jeff Janakovo, who's always on top of everything, it seems amazing. He did for me and I didn't use it, but I should have. He did an invitation to the Vegas market in the voice of Barnum and Bailey. It was unbelievably fun. I just didn't know how much of a sense of humor my top 100s would have with it. Some of my top 100 are the most down to earth, funniest dudes and dudettes you'll ever know. But I didn't use it. I didn't risk it. But I thought that's amazing that you can
give it a voice.
change. You can have the same subject matter, and you can ascribe a voice to it and completely change it. And I thought, this thing's smarter than it looks.
It's way smarter than it looks. And that's where, like, so just to give some crazy examples, you can take all of one language. Say you take all of Spanish out of the training data that you feed into one of these models. And you would think, well, it's never seen Spanish, so it doesn't know Spanish. The models know Spanish somehow. And that's where, like, the CEO of Google even says, we don't know how that happened. We don't know how it learned Spanish without having any Spanish data put into the model. So when you say it's smarter than you think it is, it's like pretty scary smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and Blake, that's what scares me a little bit for the guys and the gals that will walk away and not embrace this. I think you have to embrace this. If you don't, you don't. And when I say embrace, I mean to be educated on how to use it. I don't mean like it, love it, or hate it, or any of that stuff. Nothing to do with emotion. This is like a hammer or a screwdriver. It's a tool. It's a tool that you can go faster with in your business than otherwise possible. I mean, you want to talk about post creation, unbelievable. And James Lewis is saying, what is the best resource for learning and training in AI? That is a great question, James.
So it depends on what you want. If you want like really, really technical stuff, Andre Karpathy on YouTube, he's known as one of the best software developers in the world. He's worked at Tesla, OpenAI. He's built a lot of the models behind self-driving cars. And he puts these like 2-hour videos on YouTube where on one of them, he actually builds the ChatGPT model from the ground up in code. So you can see all of it. Yeah, which is pretty.
Did I not tell you before we started this show? Did I not tell you, Blake, that Chris Stone was next level?
Chris is on it. Yeah, Chris is way on it. So actually, Chris, if you go back to his, go up to the very top real quick. Very, very top. So see that where he has rows replaced with that thing? Do you see what that is? So that's the transformer architecture. So that's like that innovation I was talking about that like revolutionized everything. It's just a system of statistics and logic. But yeah, he is very good on the technical side. And then on the just like what's fun with AI, what's new, what are the newest tools coming out? There's someone called Matt Wolf that does a really good job staying up to date. He does weekly updates on the newest tools and tech and AI, and he's pretty entertaining, and he like uses them himself. But he's a non-technical guy who does a really good job on YouTube. So those would be my two main resources. Pete, I want to go back to the question you asked,
Sure.
which is like around nervousness around the sales process, I think, and stuff like that. And I think when you sell, and I've sold my whole adult life. I used to work in fitness, so I sold personal training. And then I got into B2B sales and was, selling to, furniture and mattress retailers as well as tire and rim. But what you're doing when you're selling is really two things, if you put them in broad categories. And I'm talking to a pro here, so I'm a bit nervous. But one thing that you're doing is you're trying to connect with the other person. Mm-hmm. You're trying to create a real, authentic connection where the other person trusts you and likes you. So that's kind of one whole part. The other part is you're trying to transfer knowledge or information to the other person because you know something about your product or service that the other person doesn't know. So that's one piece of what you're trying to do is pass knowledge or information to the other person. So if we break those down, the first thing, AI is just not going to be able to do it all. The connecting, I don't think, you can talk about the AI wives and stuff like that, and sure, that's going to be around, but we're always going to look to people to connect with, I believe. And I think the best evidence for that is chess. So chess was solved by AI some 40 years ago in the 60s or something like that. AI and computers are way, way better than people at chess today. Like no human can compete with AI in chess. It's not even close. But how many people tune in to watch AI play another AI in chess? No, like I don't think anyone would tune in to watch that or pay to watch that, or there'd be a tournament series with all the different AIs competing in chess. That sounds like the most boring, mind-numbing thing ever. We still tune in and watch chess, and chess is still an interesting thing between humans because we care about humans. Humans care about humans. I believe that to be true. So on that side of things, connecting with people, is going to be a human thing forever, in my opinion. The knowledge and education side, I think, is where we can delegate a lot of that to AI. So, if we have this model that it has, call it 500 IQ, which in chess, AI probably has something like a 200 or 300 IQ at this point. It's unstoppable. So if we have this AI that's a 500 IQ, well, now the intelligence part and the transference of information or data can be done without humans, which frees us up to do the connecting part, to try to, really connect with the other person. But what launched me on the trajectory of MattressAI a year ago is I heard a guy say that he thinks that in 5 years, it will be illegal for doctors to give a prescription or a recommendation without first consulting AI. That was his prediction. A guy named Peter Diamandis. He said, I think in 5 years, it'll be illegal for a doctor to give a prescription or recommendation without first consulting AI. And already today, if you look at things like radiology, AI does a much better job at reading the scans than human beings do. So then you get into the ethical dilemma of, like, if I have a loved one who needs a radiology, I don't know what you call it, but if I have someone who needs that kind of work done, would I prefer a human do it, or would I prefer an AI do it? I mean, if AI is getting better results across the board and it's proven, for my loved one's life, I would prefer AI does it, So those are the kind of things that I think we're going to see in the future, is areas where AI is just better. So when you really, really want a good result, you lean on AI for that information or that knowledge.
Yep.
Did that hit on any of what your question was?
Yeah, it really does. I would just add this. I have, primarily store owners, but I also get sales pros that work the retail floor. But probably my biggest audience is actually fellow sales reps. So this is for you, fellow sales reps. Before you can connect, if you don't know, all of that intel that you've been doing could be done on the hurry up with AI. I think AI is going to help you pull out relevant information quicker than ever before. What used to take us hours will literally take us minutes in the future. When you're trying to get intel on somebody, you're trying to find out, what do they like? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? All that. You used to fish around, go all over the place, and you can find that out quick. And you need to confirm all that and not assume that everything that you've got is perfect, but it does help you to connect in a way that's different than the same old connection, because nobody wants to connect with anybody unless there's something in it for them, or unless there's some kind of affinity. And those hobbies and likes and things like that, that's how you start to build the blocks to a relationship. Just like my friend has started building a relationship with me through my stomach, which is the way to a man is through his stomach, is an old saying, which is very true. Yeah. So I love this. So let's talk about things that somebody who maybe has not really done anything with AI, and let's say it's a store owner and they want to learn something quickly and make a post about it. How would they do that?
So they want to learn about something quickly and make a post about it.
Yeah. So for instance, we know that we as an industry should be talking about people waking up happy and pain-free. We know that we should be talking about how to get a good night's sleep. How do they use AI for that? Or you can give the example of this.
Yeah.
playing around with that, and then that was hilarious.
And like you said, you can tell it, hey, you want me to do it, Pete?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Here, let's cue it up here. And could you tell me about the Sell a Million book by Pete Primeau, and do it in the voice of Bruce Buffer, but be concise, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this corner, we have Sell a Million by the unstoppable Pete Primeau. This powerhouse book delivers knockout strategies for sales success, especially in the mattress and furniture industry. Get ready to master the art of customer relationships, close sales with precision, and develop a championship mindset. Don't miss your chance to transform your sales game. Find it at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Let's get...
So yeah. Oh, and then he said, let's get ready to rumble. So yeah, you can do fun things like that for sure. You know what came to mind when you were saying that? And I don't know if he does this. I don't know if he does this, but Chris Tahaney has been coming out with some really good posts lately.
Yeah, he has.
Where he relates like modern events to lack of sleep deprivation.
Yes.
And that is something, I don't know if he's using AI to do it or not, but if you don't have the creativity of Chris, you know, you can prompt that up and you can copy and paste a news story. You know, it could honestly be about anything. Obviously, the better of a connection there, the more realistic the post will be, but you could just copy and paste the news story and say, tell me how, create a Facebook post for me about how quality sleep could have helped this situation. And it'll come up with something for you. Now, obviously you need to proofread it because it's going to make those connections because you prompted it to. But if those connections are really goofy and weird, it's going to still be a goofy and weird thing. But like Chris's examples, one of them was a train accident where the person had fallen asleep. So that's kind of a gimme. But you could do that with anything. I mean, if you aren't copy and pasting stuff into ChatGPT and just talking with it about those things, that is, I think, a really easy barrier to entry. So even screenshots. So if you know how to take a screenshot, let's say you're wrestling with your Facebook ads and targeting, you know, how do I target effectively? If you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what the right option is here, take a screenshot of your screen while you're there in the Facebook ad dashboard, put that picture into ChatGPT 4 preferably. And then Chris said, I am not using AI on those posts. That's all me. Maybe I'm overworking. Well, like I said, I would have used AI to come up with posts that good. So yeah, props to you, Chris. But what was I saying? Oh, if you take a screenshot of like wherever you're stuck in your Facebook ads, you know, like, I don't know how to best optimize this. Here are the people I'm trying to target. What should I do? ChatGPT will give you some ideas, but I want to zoom in on the last part of that prompt is really important. So if you say, what should I do? It's going to tell you what it thinks you should do based on the limited information that you gave it. So a better way to end prompts a lot of times is ask me some questions to help me understand this better, or ask me questions so that you can give me a higher quality answer on what I should do. And then it won't answer. It'll go through a series of, tell me about this, you know, tell me about the demographics of where your store is, tell me about all these things. Then it will give you a much higher quality response after that second response post. There's a ton of ways you can use AI. The main way is when you get stuck with something, put it in there and tell it, hey, get me unstuck. I'm stuck on this thing right here. Help me get past this. And it'll prompt you, the user, to help you get unstuck. So
I did not know you could do that. Like, not at all, not even remotely close. That's fantastic. So what are some other ways that store owners could use AI to save themselves some time?
Ways store owners, I mean, I really think the ads and the marketing, like you alluded to, is the real, because people, I mean, Chris, he said he's not using AI. So I'm guessing those take him 60 to 90 minutes to come up with. I mean, they're really good. So they're worth 60 or 90 minutes, but he here's what I would recommend to Chris is I would say, I would put in that post that he made and say, give me 5 more ideas like this of posts like this. So a store owner could do the same thing.
Do it.
They could go back to their highest performing ad.
Yep.
And go, give me 5 more ads similar to this. You know, because one ad gets stale or one marketing piece gets stale. So give me 5 more pieces of marketing similar to this that will grab people's attention. And just don't forget, with AI, you can go back and forth with it. So if you don't like the responses, or if you want it a little bit different here, just let it know, hey, I think that it would be better if it were like this. And then it will improve based on your input. So it's, you know, AI is not just a one shot. It's not like Google. You put in one shot and you get a bunch of responses. Have a back and forth for sure. Using technology to enhance the quality of conversations on the floor. Yes.
Is that you, Andrew, or is that Keith? That's 100% though. So
yeah.
Good.
And we've been doing this, you know, there's the sleep mapping technologies, I'm blanking on the name right now, Pete, but you know what I'm talking about. The thing you lay down on, there's all kinds of great technologies.
Diagnostic machines. Yeah.
Yes. And another thing that I was thinking about the other day is, and you can help me here, Pete, you're the expert, but I heard from someone, I think it was the bedhead guys at a conference, that there's 2 things that people are worried about when they make a mattress purchase. One is that they're going to pay too much. And the other is that they're going to make the wrong choice. They're going to pick the wrong mattress. So those are kind of their 2 fears. Is that close, Pete?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's right on. The way that I've said it for many, many years is, I don't believe, even though it feels like at times like you're getting a bad run of customers and they all want the cheapest thing you've got, I really don't believe that the average customer wants to steal from you and make you go out of business and get over on you. What the average customer doesn't want to have happen is they don't want to go out on Memorial Day, like we just had, and hit the grill up and Charlie, their next door neighbor, and they have a conversation. They find out that Charlie bought the same mattress for a lot less than you did. So that fear of loss, of paying too much, is a very real thing. And then making the wrong choice. And that is the function of a lot of different things, but primarily a long buy-in cycle. It's a long buy-in cycle. If you think about things that you like to buy, you buy them often and you buy them well. You know, like the example I always use is someone who always shops for their groceries. She or he knows when the milk is really on sale and when it's a phony sale. They know, and they have complete confidence. They know when the ground chuck is really on sale or not on sale, and they have complete confidence because they do it every week, and they're confident. When you buy something every 8 to 15 years, there's no way to automatically have confidence in it. So
Pete, going back to like my previous jobs, you know, on the side of like paying too much or having a hard time affording it, we've deployed so much technology to that solution. It's unbelievable over the past 20 years. So accepting credit cards, you know, accepting multiple different forms of payment, now accepting, you know, payment plans, no credit needed financing. We've deployed tons of different kinds of technology to overcome the fear that they're not going to be able to afford the purchase. And on the side of making the right choice, you know, I think that is where AI is going to have a big impact on helping us give customers that sense of confidence that they made the right choice. Now, there still needs to be a human connection. There still needs to be a lot of things that go in there for sure. But I think that technology, that intelligence that is required in helping a customer feel like they made the right choice just didn't exist before AI, other than the pressure mapping stuff and you know, a few other pieces of technology. But primarily, we didn't have that intelligence to really match someone and give them that confidence. So,
do you want to hear a dirty little secret?
Yes.
So I'll come right back to Chris's comment. So I worked with somebody who was involved with the first pressure map in diagnostic technologies. The technology wasn't ready, and it didn't. There were 26 body maps, heat maps. It randomly selected one.
Oh, God.
That's the truth. Now, this is many years ago. I'm going back years, like 15, 20 years. So
there was a little wheel of fortune inside of there. It just spun around.
She told me that a one-legged customer got up on the machine. The RSA didn't know any better. The RSA believed in the technology, and it printed out a body map of somebody with two legs. And it was like, it's like the Gong Show, right? You're completely busted at this point in time. So it's come a long way. It's, first of all, we've learned not to put out pressure body maps or heat maps. You don't need to do that anymore. It just prints out some beds for you to try. But let's get back to my friend Chris Tahaney. He had a comment here. Chris Tahaney says, the senior VP of sales at DreamFit, I'm learning that shame on me for not spending as much time talking to MattressAI Blake as much as I should be. Dude, I am making so many notes. It's ridiculous over here. It's like, why didn't I get to know Blake better sooner?
So I want to give an analogy to what you just said in the pressure mapping thing, because this new AI technology is so new. So what a lot of these huge companies are doing is they're reimagining old technologies based on this new AI technology. So have you seen this? Like Rabbit R1 is a really good example. Have you seen this?
Nope.
Pete? Okay. So there's this Rabbit R1, and it promised that it could do all these magical things with AI. And that they had this large action model and this whole, oh, there I am. I might be wearing the same shirt. I'm not sure. But anyway, they had all these promises that they were going to be the iPhone of AI. So the reimagined iPhone experience with now an AI native platform. And to your example of the pressure mapping, the underlying technology, the AI technology, is just not even close to ready for that. The intelligence is there, but the tooling around the intelligence is not there yet to give a remarkable experience. So they sold like 100,000 of these things. So it's like $20 million that they sold to consumers, and it just does nothing. It's just this pretty orange brick that people got. So in AI, we're for sure going through this same cycle of like smoke before the fire kind of thing is going on for sure. But everyone knows that the fire is real. A lot of the use cases are just not fully end-to-end ironed out yet that can deliver an experience to the end user where they can attribute that to a certain amount of value. So it's definitely coming, but it's still a very baby technology for sure.
Yeah. This is interesting, Blake. It'll be interesting to you. So this is actually for you, my fellow sales reps. I'm going to Texas in early November, and I'm going there for a conference called Outbound. And in the Outbound conference, you've got the main speakers on the show, and then you also have a day and a half of individual like mini workshops, and you have to decide which of these workshops you want to go to. So there's like 6 or 8 of them going on at once. I chose every one that had something to do with AI, and there are a lot of them because that's what I need to learn. Like, I already know this other stuff, but I don't know AI, and I need to learn it. So I thought that was really interesting. And almost every session, every group of sessions, there was an AI option, and I literally chose every one of them.
So I'm in this founders university. It's like 150 little startups like ours. And like half of them have AI in their name, and all of them are using AI in some base way in their product. So Yeah, it's really a transformative technology that's leading, just like the internet did. It's leading to a lot of opportunities to recreate and disrupt, old things that were old, but to make them new. So yeah, good on you for jumping in all of those.
I have to. I don't want to get left behind. I mean,
well, I think what you'll find, Pete, is that the magic, like, I don't think you have been as successful as you've been because of just like all the information that you had access to. I think you're a people person and you're amazing at connecting to people. And when people interact with you, they leave and they go, I feel better. And I like Pete and I feel like Pete wants to help me. And that's not going anywhere. I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
How we access and interact with data and knowledge and reason, that is going to change. Yeah, which is a lot, but it's also like the not fun stuff too. Like I like connecting with people. If I could hang out with people around a campfire and like, just like whatever you want the kids say, vibe with them or whatever, like that sounds great. Whenever I have to like transfer information, that's kind of like not the fun part to me, I don't think,
Right. So Blake, here's my question. We've been talking for almost an hour. Is there a question that I didn't ask you that you want me to ask you?
You warned me you were going to ask this, and then I still didn't prepare. But no, I can think of one. Yeah, I think it'd be fun if you asked me what the world looks like in 10 years.
Blake, what does the world look like in 10 years?
So back to like the chess example and the answer I just gave, I think once the AI gets a lot smarter, which it's definitely going to do, it already is internally at these companies, Google and OpenAI, they already have extremely, extremely intelligent AIs that we haven't seen yet. So that's 100% going to come. Whenever that gets into humanoid robots that can then build other humanoid robots, things start to get really scary, I know. But I think a lot of our, what we call work today, will be able to be delegated to the artificial intelligence. So I think connecting to people, creating, human experiences is going to be almost everything. And then I think people are going to enjoy playing a lot of games, the funny thing is we've already headed in this direction. So if you think about 50 years ago, how many professional, say golfers there were in the world, there was probably like one or two 50 years ago. Now there's probably 100 or a couple hundred, and so these things that didn't seem like real jobs at all in the past, well, our jobs are going to get even more abstract. Question inception. Yeah, right. Yeah. What do you wish? Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff or Ben.
I think our jobs, if we still have things that we call jobs 10 years from now, are going to get extremely abstract, that aren't related at all to like food, shelter, and water. It's going to be things that we can't even really imagine today, is what we're going to call jobs and work 10 years from now, is my prediction.
Interesting. So like somebody's been watching and they're like, all right, man, I need to get a hold of Blake. What's the best way to do that?
LinkedIn, Facebook, my phone number, 573-881-1864. I love meeting with people. I love showing them the demo of MattressAI and what we're building. So, real quick, back to my previous example, like these people who are trying to recreate the iPhone with AI, you guys, mattress store owners, salespeople, you guys are interacting with a lot of technology today, but it's not AI tech. It's not AI native technology, and it's not mattress centric. It wasn't built. A lot of it wasn't specifically built for the mattress industry. So that's what we're looking to do at MattressAI is stay, a relatively lean, small team of guys who are building AI native tools for the mattress industry that are going to help them be more effective. And, you know, our primary feature now, you can see on our homepage, matching people to mattresses with AI. So we have an AI agent that you can put on your marketing. You can put on your Facebook marketing, or you can even put it internal, but it can talk in any language. It has a mattress matching conversation. And then it looks at the inventory that you've told us and matches that person with a mattress to give you a starting point for shopping in your store. So it's a way to grab leads from people, but it's also a way to provide value for people who don't really know where to start with mattress shopping. You know, I'm sure you guys have all had someone who came in, a really large person who said, I want a soft mattress. And you have to have that like tough thing where it's like, you know, one place where MattressAI can help is like, well, let's push pause and let's have a little chat with this cool little AI tool and see what it recommends for you. And as soon as we see this person's 350 pounds, you know, now the AI is saying like, you kind of need a firmer bed and can help you out with that. So, but yeah, we're looking at doing some other things with these AI native
customer
tools.
Can get mad at AI instead of getting mad at you, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like I sell an assistant who's disposable, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I use
optional.
AI the way I want to, and then I shelf AI when I don't need it.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
That's very interesting. Well, I have a prediction for you, young man.
Okay.
Here's my prediction. My prediction is that your company in the next 3 years won't look anything like it does now at all, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to start to take on more and more clients, and I know who you are, dude. Like between this and this, like I know who you are. You're a worker.
Yeah.
And you are going to go deep, and you are going to uncover additional needs that you didn't see already. And you are going to make every attempt to educate and to develop new tools that you haven't even thought about and that aren't even part of AI right now at all in any way, shape, or form. And some things that maybe aren't even involved in the mattress business right now. So in 3 years, we don't need 10 years. Your company will look completely different than it looks now. But here's the good thing. Anybody that has the drive to do handwritten notes and have cheesecake delivered to somebody will figure out how to thrive. And I'm going to say this: soft skills are going to be more important than they've ever been. Your ability for your heart and your brain to connect to another person's heart and brain is going to be more important. And the people that can do that are going to be more highly compensated than ever before. That is how I see the future. Any last comments? I always give my guests the last word.
No, but I love taking 30-minute Zoom calls. So if you're excited about anything that I said or anything I'm building, I would love to jump on a 30-minute Zoom call with anyone. So that's it.
Thanks, everybody. Go forward. And we got a short week. It's Tuesday already, but go forward and sell a million, everybody. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you, Pete. Take care.
Take care.